A very beautiful Monday afternoon from wherever you're watching. This is Jalango TV and this is Bonga Najalas. Today, the interview that most of you have been waiting for and most of you have been asking for is happening because Mheshimiwa is here with me, Senator Narok County Ledama. Ledama Olekina.
Yes.
So Ledama
Olekina.
Yes. Do you have a different name,
No.
English name?
No, why should I have an English name? See, even you're just called Jalango.
Jalango.
Which is the other name do you want?
Yeah, all right, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Kabla tujaendelea, please sanitize.
Tupige hii.
Sanitize kabisa. But do you think we have corona really?
Tusalimiane. Sawa.
Do you think we have corona really?
Corona is there. Corona
Okay.
is real. Corona is real, but I think we can open the economy intelligently. It's a bit different. In the sense that we become disciplined. You see, the biggest problem we have in Kenya is that we're not disciplined. But if we were disciplined, then of course we'll be able to deal with the issue of corona quite well.
Wow.
Yeah.
But do you think the president has handled it well, the whole Ministry of Health, up till this moment when things are starting to flatten up?
No, we have to, I think, separate the two. I mean, the president, I think, has tried as much as he can. But I think the Ministry of Health has failed because it has ended up being just a criminal enterprise. In the sense that people are just interested in lining their own pockets.
Okay.
They were not interested in really helping the people. Because if you see what is happening now with the biggest procurement entity of the Ministry of Health, which is KEMSA. They have billions of shillings worth of PPEs, yet our doctors were actually dying because they did not have PPEs.
Wow.
So I just think they totally failed. And it was very, very good for Dennis Okari to do that expose.
Yes.
We are currently carrying out the investigation in the Senate. And I believe that Kenyans are people who are hardworking. They will pull through this. It's been very, very hard for Kenyans, and I've really felt it for them.
So many people have lost their jobs.
I mean, look at the entertainment industry.
Yes.
The bars, people that don't even think about them. The maids.
I'm telling you, yesterday, the bar owners actually went to pray. To pray so that the president can open up the economy. Can you imagine how you go back to, you're a bar owner and you're praying for God to open up for you?
Yes. There's nothing wrong in drinking. You just have to drink responsibly.
Okay.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with drinking.
What's your favorite drink, by the way?
A Macallan.
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 Very, very good.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa, let me tell you something. I used to follow you long time. I think you are still in the States then.
Yes.
You're still in the States, and you wanted actually to be the president of this country.
Jala, I still want to be president of this country in the future.
2022?
Well, no. In 2022, I want to remain in the Senate.
In the Senate?
I want to focus on trying to bring sanity into all these pieces of legislations. I think the BBI will be able to help us, be able to correct our constitution, because our constitution contradicts itself.
Okay.
You read one clause, it says this, you read another clause, it sort of like contradict the other issue. Even though all this nonsense of the two-third gender, it's coming out because of the conflict of the different clauses in the Constitution. If you look at Article 97 and 98, and then you look at Article 27 and you look at Article 281 and Article 100 and Schedule 5, you wonder how we're going to be able to achieve this two-third gender rule, yet there's a ceiling of how many people can be in each particular house. And also a disclaimer that anybody can run for these offices, So it really, it's self-defeating.
Maybe creating more positions?
I don't think so. You have the issue of SRC talking about that we don't have money. Our economy should not only be about paying salaries.
Yes.
I think our economy should be about creating more jobs. I mean, look at what you're doing. This is genius. You're doing something which a lot of people will take them ages for them to figure out. But they always say necessity is the mother of invention. You figure out, I'm tired of being employed. Let me do something for myself. And I think that's where we want to take Kenya. We want to take Kenya to a point where we think of three very important issues. And I learned this in Singapore. I like going to Singapore once a year when Corona is not there, just to be able to try and understand how that country grew up from a third world country to a first world country. And the first thing that they really focus a lot on is the issue of meritocracy, where You employ somebody because of their ability to deliver, but not because they're your brother, your cousin, your friend, your political affiliate. You know, you bring in somebody as a minister of finance because he was top in his class, because he was very good wherever he does. You know, but you don't bring in somebody because you want him to give you kickbacks. We also have to be pragmatic in the sense that, you know, we have to look at different theories on what works and what doesn't work. Like this issue now of the two-third gender role.
That's true.
If we become pragmatic, then we develop, you know, sort of like ideologies that can help us achieve that, but not a must, or we cannot say it should. You know, this word of should, must, shall, it is not something which you should be pushing for. We should be looking at different theories. How does this work really well? And you see how we can be able to test the waters. We also have to be honest.
That's true.
One of the biggest honesty move that we've witnessed recently is one of the Chief Justice, to be honest with you, in Kakamega, when he was offered 3, what do you call them, he goats, as a sign of the 3 arms of government. And he said, listen, I'm not allowed to take a gift worth more than 20,000. Jala, if I give you a gift worth more than 20,000 shillings here, you'll be flossing all the way. You'll be saying, hey,
of course, yes.
Thank you. In fact, you'll be looking at that meat and saying, hey, nitakula this month, next month, next month. But him, he said no. So what we want is that we want people who will deliver services, but not because you want to pay them.
All right.
You know, and I'm praying that the new generation can actually be able to do that. You know, I lived in the US for over 20 years.
20 years.
And whenever I needed something, I didn't need to get into my pocket and bribe. But look at what happens in this country. That's the honesty that we lack. If we are honest, like you called me, you said, I'd like to host you in the show. I tell you, I'll be there. I appear. I don't have to give you excuses. Oh, you know, I have to be here, I have to be there. We just have to be honest, pragmatic, and we also have to think about meritocracy. That is what we need to think about. That will take us, you know, ahead. But currently, what we are doing is that every leader who is elected or who is appointed, they are not there to change the future of Kenya. They are there to be able to line their own pockets. You know, look at what is happening in the medical equipment scheme.
That's true.
Okay, almost 64 billion shillings. You see one company is given 24 billion, another company is given. But then when you try to understand, even for us, even when we're investigating the process, we're not being honest. Because you investigate and you cannot differentiate between leasing and buying. So you bring up a lot of issues which are not necessary. The most important thing is to just be honest. Call a spade a spade. But what I've realized in the last few years that I've been in Parliament is that black is not black and white is not white. You will go there, Jalo, and say, this tissue is white. My friend, that will be your first day in Parliament. After 2 or 3 weeks, you are told, boss, can you see how black this tissue is? And you are like, by the way, it's very black. You know, because you see things differently.
What happens? What happens in those houses?
I'll tell you what happens.
Because somebody, you'd want to come in and honestly work for the country and deliver for your people and put all these promises together. What happens when somebody walk into those houses?
I'll tell you what happens. It's a culture, you know. I was very lucky, actually extremely lucky, that when I ran for office, I didn't spend a lot of money. You know, I didn't bribe. I can tell you that for a fact, I did not bribe.
You want to tell me
there's
no coin?
I spent money, but I did not bribe. What did I spend money on? If I'm putting up a function, I'll pay for the tent, I'll pay for the sound, and sometime I may be forced to transport people there.
To come?
Because maybe they want to listen to me, but they cannot get there. And they are saying, we want to go and listen to this young man talk. So I will send a bus to bring them. They come, that bus takes them back. I'll give them food to eat. That is not bribing. You know, they would have, if it wasn't for me, they would have been out there hustling, getting their food on the table. But the problem that we have now is like what I witnessed yesterday, I think it's in Kisii, where a politician spoke, and then after speaking, he went there to that function. He gave out 10,000 shillings, harambe, but then he said, you know, pangeni line huko kila mtu aende na 500 nyumbani. You know, that is dishonest. And that is what happens. So when you go into Parliament now, you want to take every opportunity to be able to recover the money that you're going to be able to dish out. Right now, let me tell you, Jala.
Yes.
If the President decided to dissolve Parliament, I think maybe 20% of parliamentarians will come back. Because they have taught Kenyans this culture of gonya gonya.
Nipe.
Nipe. So when they go there and they speak, nobody will listen to them. It's like, okay, so later. They even tell you, boss, you know your opponent was saying A, B, C, D. Can we now, send some money kidogo? We start sponsoring youth in Facebook, sponsoring, we send somebody in a radio show, and you've got to pay these people, facilitate for them to be able to go there. Wow. So then when a politician is in parliament, and they are in a very strong oversight position, they're either dealing with government officials who have misappropriated money. They are dealing with companies, because nowadays private companies are the ones which are more corrupt than anybody else. Mm-hmm. They find an opportunity where the businessman come and say, boss, we're in the pole kwa maneno. Then they are given a kickback. So you are sitting down there thinking, I'm going to the elections. I have no money. You're giving me 3 million, 4 million. I don't care whether you're making $1 billion, but I need this 3 million, 4 million. And you take the money. It's a culture that we've created, And I'm very hopeful, and I'm looking forward to BBI to see whether it can be able to resolve some of those problems. That is the problem, Jalango, that we have in this country, where you've created a culture of dependency. You depend a lot, and then favors, not merit. And that's why we need now to inculcate a culture of meritocracy, inculcate a culture of pragmatism, inculcate a culture of honesty. That will take us far. A lot of youth don't have jobs. They're jobless. Mm-hmm. Okay? What can we do to create those jobs for them? Let us be practical, and let us come up with theories which we know will work. Let us not say we are starting kazi kwa vijana. The person in charge of the money is a 70 or 80-year-old man. He finds ways of procuring things which are not necessary, ends up spending about half of that money in shoddy procurement entity jobs, and then he pays that boy 300 or 400 shillings
400, 500.
Yeah. I mean, it is wrong. So that's a discipline that we are lacking in this country. And I can tell you this without any fear of doubt or contradiction. There is no one currently who has positioned themselves to run for president who can be able to change that culture. No one.
What do you mean?
Not even one.
You can't see what the deputy president is doing?
No, not even one. I can tell you that. Not even one. Okay? It will take a long time. We will start seeing changes come 2032 onwards. Okay? I'm being very pragmatic, because there's no point of me telling you that they are going to do that. Okay? Because now it's about who is paying more. It is not about who is starting a job there. It is about clanism, tribalism. Right now we are aligning ourselves in terms of tribes. In fact, most of us are seen as if, even though we can offer this country solution, maybe we've been able to do certain things for ourselves and to help the community. The numbers are the most important thing.
Numbers.
They say, hey, Kikuyus are many, Kalenjins are many, Luyas are many. In fact, I think Luyas are more than the Kikuyus. But because of business sense, it says, no, Kikuyus are more than Luyas. But it's actually the other way around. If you go into this Kawangwara here, or you go to Korogocho or somewhere, or even Kangemi, count the number of Luyas versus Kikuyus. You will find that there are many. But because it is not something, sexy to say that these Lunjes are many, of course, you will continue saying that the
Kuyus are many.
The Kuyus are many. But now, for us Masais, we are less than 1%. Even if we have solutions, it will take a few years for Kenyans to realize that, yes, we can give that Masai an opportunity. He can run this country better. He can help bring discipline. Look at Rwanda. Look at what is happening in Rwanda. Man. And that's why sometimes I believe that you just need a benevolent dictator, but someone who will come there not to line their own pockets. There are two types of dictators. There's a dictator who will come in and their interest is to be able to own every business. When they see Jala TV is doing very well, they want a share of it. They want everything. They take it from you. But you get another dictator who is like, I'm happy that Jala is doing, and he'll encourage more other younger Jalas and whatever to come up with other ideas to proceed. That is the difference between some dictators and Kagame.
Wow.
Kagame is doing fantastic. I've met the gentleman, sat down with him for over an hour, and I've listened to him talk, seen the way he cares about the economy, seen the way he has brought in changes into that country. Very small country, the size of Kajiado. But it's doing wonders. That is the kind of thing we
I
need.
hear all conferences now go to...
Oh, they all go there. Look at Corona. Everybody is disciplined. I mean, let us be honest. Are we disciplined enough? No. Look at the airports. When you enter into the airport, there's a robot that welcomes you and say, welcome. It takes your temperature, you know, then it tells you, sanitize, proceed, please remember to put on your mask, go, you know, you get your tickets. We need that kind of leadership. But the problem here in Kenya is that we talk and talk and talk, and then we become vindictive. We start when you see somebody is doing well, you start following them. There's always like a file in CAD headquarters. There's always like a file
Just
in
waiting for you.
KRA. There's always a file in ESCC. The moment you start showing your independence, they start pulling that file. Ati huyu jamaa
Akiwa states.
akiwa huko alifanya hivi na hivi. Huyu jamaa kuna kandisk mahali fulani amefanya hivi. You know, it's nonsense. You know, let us look at the future of this country. Let us look at the younger generation. You know, we have a gold mine in this country. We're the most industrious nation that I've ever come across. I mean, and I've lived in so many countries. I've traveled all over the world. And I can tell you, Africa is the richest continent in the world. Jalo, I drove from South Africa to Nairobi. And when I was crossing Botswana into Zambia, on my way to Lusaka, to Livingstone, and then all the way to Lusaka before I came to Tanzania, the number of trucks which were ferrying copper, taking it to South Africa to get into a boat to go to China, ilikuwa ni kama nzige, my friend. Okay? They are reaping that, you know, raping that economy. Okay? Completely. They are doing the same here in this country. That's why we've borrowed a lot. We need to change. Live within our means. Be happy. Our food is very expensive. But the only time we can be able to really change, because any time you come up with a program to help the youth, to help the farmers, instead of anybody seeing the beauty or the results there, they start seeing, how can I get some little cash out of it? Get some little cash, they come buy houses in Lavington, in Nairobi, in Karen, you know, in Runda, when the people back home who are supposed to be benefiting from those projects are languishing in poverty.
In your bid to be the president, don't you think that maybe it will be a good chance for you to start as governor now?
I don't believe that. I think
so that people can actually see you could transform the whole thing, and we'll use it as a benchmark for you.
Jalo.
Like this is where this place was because of governor.
Jalango, let me go back to the issue of meritocracy and pragmatism. Okay? The problem is that the people in Narok will not be willing to be pragmatic. And what do I say by that? I come from a very small clan. Very, very small clan. We are 5,000. I thank the good Lord that I was elected as senator. Let's be very realistic. The problem is that we have
5,000?
5,000.
Which clan is this?
They're called Eldamat.
Eldamat.
Very few. And I know that I am the best for that county. I know that as a fact. And I know that when I focus, I will win that seat by far. But it will be very difficult to work there because everybody will be saying, I need my share, I need my share. You know? Right now, we've got one of the biggest clans, which is the Proko. And they are like about, in every constituency, there are 2 individuals who want to become governor. 2.
Because they know they have the numbers.
2. But what numbers? Let me ask you. Why is it that the Luyas have never been president of this country? Because they are not united. if the Luyas would come together and have one person and say, I don't care about my own personal interest, I care, I believe that this person, my friend, defeating them will be a big task. But they can't, you know, which I agree with. It's independent, it's a democracy, you know. But look at it this way. We have you know, I'm a firm believer that, of course, Narok belongs to the Maasais. Completely firm believer that, and I never change that. But we are welcoming. We allow people to come in, support. Our culture is very, very important, you know, for us to continue inculcating the culture into other people. Because Kisumu is for the Luos, whether you like it or not. Kiambu is for the Kikuyus, whether you like it or not. But until the time all of us can be able to say, the resources being divided in, from Nairobi, from the national government, will actually go in as helping Kenyans, not this tribe. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is the only time that we can actually stand there and tell people, listen, I'm willing to bet my life on this. I will run for this seat and I will change everybody, and they will believe you. But the moment you now run and you become the governor, people even from your own clan will start lining and saying it's our time to eat. Okay? Mm-hmm. So really sometimes you give it some time for people to grow, to learn. Okay? And then just maybe. Because you see, you've got to control what happens on the counties from the national perspective.
That's true.
You know? So why don't we try to unite the country? Mm-hmm. Try to be realistic. So that the younger people who are growing up can start to divorce themselves from their clans. You know, and they listen, and they say, what is he saying? You know, I want to follow what Olekina is saying, because I believe that the ideas that Olekina is coming up with are ideas which will help this country, but not his clan. There are a few things we are doing in Narok. Maybe one day we'll invite you, you host a show in Narok, mm-hmm. and you will love it. So we want to show them. We want to prove to them that we can actually do this with very little money. It's a matter of realigning the existing resources that you have. Mm-hmm. And then you make a big difference.
How's your relationship with your governor now?
Well, it's cordial in the sense that we have to work for the people. Mm-hmm. I think my job is very clear. I'm in the Senate under Article 96, which is to defend the interests of the counties and their governments. Mm-hmm. We may not agree, you know, in different styles of leadership, mm-hmm. but we have to respect each other. We are both leaders. Mm-hmm. We are not activists. Mm-hmm. You know, with the moment, I'm a firm believer that I may not agree with you, but I will defend you. Wow. You know, I don't agree with Uhuru Kenyatta, but he's my president. I respect him for that, and I'll say let's agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. I think February 19th, 2019, I said no to Huduma number. You know, and the people who were saying yes, Huduma number are the ones who are coming back and telling me now, hey, boss, what did you see that we did not see? You know?
Let me ask you, what was your stand on revenue allocation, the county's revenue allocation?
Boss, I was Team Kenya. Mm-hmm. No county should ever lose money. Not a single county should lose money. Because you know what is happening is that when you look at the population census...
Maybe to a layman, eh?
Yes.
A layman who's watching us today.
Yes.
And did not understand the 1 shilling, 1 vote, Team Kenya and everything. What was really happening?
Okay, very good. That's a very good question. Let me explain it this way. Team Kenya was made up of first 18 counties that were losing. Okay. And these counties were losing the money they had been allocated in the last financial year. Narok had been given 8 billion. Mm-hmm. But then, with the new formula, which was now drafted by CRA and also crafted by the committee, Narok was going to lose 900 million.
Okay.
Okay? We said no. Then we got two very dear friends, whom I'm forever grateful. Sakaja, okay, the senator from Nairobi. Then we got senator from, his name is Kabaka from Machakos. Mm-hmm. We got Senator Murkomen. Mm-hmm. We got Aaron Cheriot, mm-hmm. who I'm forever grateful to. We got Langat, that's number 5. Mm-hmm. Then we had number 6, and they'll kill me if I don't remember their names. We had one more senator, mm-hmm. who was actually gaining money, But they said no. Oh, Malala.
Malala.
We had Malala as number 6. And then I think we had a few others. They'll have to forgive me for forgetting the names. But they came in and they said, no. We have to think of Kenya as everybody gaining, not losing. So Kenyans were going to lose. Mandera was going to lose 2 billion. Imagine you have a new population. Imagine things are different. You know, the price of unga then was not the same. There are no roads in that area. Then you're losing money. The money is now going to counties where they actually get a lot of services from the national government. What they did is that they said, Mandera is too big. You know? Oh, Narok is too big. Yet, a lot of area is empty. There's no person who lives there. So what we're going to do, we are going to reduce, instead of dividing the parameter of land, because what happened is this. Jalango, you have 1,000 bob. Okay? You have 10 children. How do you give these 10 children money so that all these 10 children are happy?
Everybody 100 bob.
So then, that's simple. No. So what do? You say, let's look at it this way. Let us look at it and say, this child number 1, how far is this child number 1 from a hospital? Okay? Then you say, we are going to come up and give it a weight. Out of 100%, you say, this child of mine is married 2 women, and they have 2 kids. This one has married 4 women, they have 4 kids. So when you look at, you say population, I'll give it 18%. You say health, distance, I'll give it 17%. Then you say this one of mine is living in Mandera. The other one is living in Mombasa. You say that I'll give it 8%, but I'll cap it at 7%. So you take that 1,000 shillings and you give it weights up to 100%. Then these people say, Dapana, these guys of Mandera Bwana, if it is 8%, they will take most of the money. So what do? Let us reduce it into a square root. Instead of the land size, we reduce it into a square root. Narok, which is 17,800 square kilometers, was reduced into a square root of 143. So the bigger counties and the smaller counties all became the same. So these, let me tell you, all these issue where people were talking about the 1 man, 1 shilling, you know, or 1 kilometer, 1 shilling, it was just a lot of baloney. It was never there. Because if it was 1 man, 1 shilling, which is the county that has got the most population? It's Nairobi.
Nairobi, yes.
Then Nairobi would have taken all the money. Okay, so it was not there. It was just a matter of reducing the size of the big counties and make them smaller. Okay? You too. Then it brought all the disparities. But now, with our force and also with our ability to understand these numbers as Team Kenya, we pushed, and Sir God was there looking out for us. And ultimately, we won.
Wow.
Okay? So now, no county has lost any money.
No county has lost any money.
And of course, Uhuru said, you know, these Kenyans are quite gullible, eh? And watu wakiambia kitu wanakubali tu. They all believe that mimi ndio napeana pesa. Sawa. Next year, ndawaongezea 52B. So we said, oh, good job. It's a way out, eh? Let's go take the 52 billion or 53 billion, put those weights, zile ambaye zilitolewa na CRA, tupeleke hizo weights tuzieke. Lakini, we'll put a condition. Hii weight itakuwa implemented if that 53 billion is actually in the bank. Now we can now divide it. So what does that mean? Counties continue getting what they got last year. Waendelea tu na maisha yao. Lakini ile pesa nyingine ikikuja basi haya, Narok tuongezea Narok nini? Another 800 million. Ni sawa. I'm okay with it.
Wow. Talking about kuongezewa Narok and everything. Why do you incite the Maasai?
That's a very good question. I have never incited the Maasais. It's a misconception. It is an issue of going back to the issue of honesty, going back to the issue of pragmatism. I said, one of my texts, the first tweet that I sent out there, was that, in fact, if you go to my Twitter handle, Ledama Olekina, you will see, the one which is pinned out there, it says, Central Kenya, you will remember me. You've turned your entire land into a concrete jungle. Okay? I said, Maasai land belongs to the Maasais. It is for grazing purposes. Okay? Jalango, you can come to Narok today. I show you somewhere where you will buy land at 20,000 shillings.
That is
Okay?
how big?
An acre.
For 20K?
For 20K. But why is it 20K? So unakuja hapo na ujuaji yako, unasema 20K. Nasema mimi niko na madem fulani 1 2 3 machali fulani, nikiwaambia walete do watalete. Then you now divide that 1 acre into 8 plots. Mimi nimekuzia 20,000. Wewe umedivide into 8 plots. Na each plot unauza 300,000. Masai ni mjinga No, Masai anafuata sheria. Kwa sababu that land was reserved for grazing. Hata hapa Nairobi, where you guys live here, if I now want to change, nitoe hii magorofa zote ziko hapa niseme naeka shamba, I must go to the Ministry of Lands and apply for a change of user. I must consult the neighbors. Nyinyi mnataka shamba iwe hapa. Kuna nini fertilizer itakuwa ikiteremka hapo chini, itaingia kwa maboma zenyu. The environment will change, it will be, maybe things will be different. So what I said is very serious, and it's something which will help this country. I said, if land is reserved for agriculture, keep it agriculture, for food security. If land is reserved for commercial, make it commercial. The land that I will sell you at 20,000 shillings is on a freehold title. You don't pay any taxes on it. But now, unakuja divide into plots. It moved from being a freehold to a leasehold. You now start paying rates. That is why people pay rates here. Now, when I said Masai land is strictly for grazing and for agriculture, don't subdivide land. People said I was inciting. But the big picture is this. If Jalango now you come and you buy land next to me, you subdivide it into plots. You extend what we called the municipality. The area become a municipal. When it becomes a municipality, and in this country we do not have grandfathering laws or regulations, even my land which is there, which is agricultural land, the municipal council now starts saying, Olekina has 100 acres here. Olekina, you subdivide that land now because we want that money. Okay? Mimi nimekuwa naishi maisha yangu tu vizuri. There's no, and then they force me, I cannot afford, they sell my land. Number 2, they have not given me electricity, they have not given me water. So I'm being honest, I'm telling people, we are not there yet. We have other parts which are not productive.
Willing buyer, willing seller.
There's nothing like that.
What do you mean?
Even if there is a willing buyer, willing seller, follow the law. Go, ita kabaraza kwa wazee, waambie sasa mimi nanunua hii shamba from Olekina because Olekina is willing to sell to me and I'm willing to buy. Then mutakubali nikatakate. Then wazee will say no. Then you become dishonest. You take money, you go to land control board, you give those members of the land control board. Wanakupitishia. You go to the survey, you give money huko chini, unapitishio. Before you realize, you've put beacons. Beacons you've subdivided. Then the municipality come and knock. You start disturbing the neighbors. Why is it that, let me ask you a very simple question.
Yeah.
Why is it that in Karen, you cannot build a gorofa? Why is it that in Karen, the smallest land you can have is half an acre? Kwani the rich people are the only ones who are supposed to live in this world? In Karen, it is zoned. It is an issue of zoning laws. Yes, willing buyer, willing seller, no problem. Come, I'll sell you land, 20,000 an acre. But, weka ng'ombe, acha zikule.
Wow. Wow. So, with all this, having traveled everywhere, born and bred in Ma?
Yes.
Where?
A place called Olombogishi. I'll take you one day. It's still as pure as it can be, as milk. Beautiful, protected it, no subdividing land there. You come, well, shauri yako. You will not be allowed to.
Primary school?
Primary school, I went to Olombogishi. I did Olombogishi. Then I went to Alesangale Primary School in Narok. And then after that, I just crossed the road. I went to Narok Boys High School. And then immediately from Narok Boys High School, I went to the US for university. Yes.
Rich kid, eh?
No.
What do you mean?
I'll
How
put it
do you
this
just
way.
leave Form 4 and straight up you go to the US?
Very good. If you believe it, or rather, field of dreams, if you build it, they will come. This is what happened to me. It's a very interesting story, and I'm proud and I'm very grateful to God. When I graduated from high school, I stayed at home. It just wasn't working. There was a Peace Corps volunteer called Paul Gogan, who's from America. He would come, he'd help me, he would bring me even, he'd introduce me to other people. And my teacher in primary school was Mark Masai's mother. It was Mary White. She was British, Scottish actually. And took an interest in the English language, started really getting to learn. So Paul, when he was doing his volunteer services in Narok, I used to help translate to the community. So we became very good friends. Then when he was leaving to go back to the US and then to Canada, he said, you come with me to Nairobi. I was never really in Nairobi. I've never been to Nairobi then. I mean, I'd come to visit, but I didn't know anywhere. So we landed at Longonot Place. Went there, tons of TVs all over. Was mesmerized, met Jimmy Gathu, you know, met a few people, and then met a lot of journalists. And then there was a journalist friend of mine called Bill Stout. May the good Lord rest his soul. He died. Bill was working for Reuters. When he was working for Reuters, Reuters were coming up to open Africa Journal, with which was shown on KTN. So we talked. He had an interest in coming in to film the Maasai. We had a cultural ceremony going on. So he said, you know, stay over here for the weekend. And then on Monday, he developed an interest in me. On Monday, he took me to meet now someone who I called my adopted father. His name is Gerard Williams. When he took me to meet Gerard Williams, Gerard liked me. Gerard was now working for Mohammed Amin of Camera Picks. And Mo had given him the work. He could hire his people. Karol Adul actually came later to work for us. And, you know, he literally said, you know, you have a job. If you want, I can hire you. You come, we'll pay you a small salary, and you can learn how to do these things. We'll do the Maasai story later. You know, I was mesmerized. I was like, wow. So I said, okay, let me go back and ask for permission from my father. Because, you know, as a Maasai boy, before you leave, you have to ask for permission, mate, and I went back home, talked to my dad. I told him I'm leaving. He didn't give me anything. It was only fair. Went to Nairobi. I worked in Lavington, here, Camera Picks for Reuters. Would do fantastic stories. We were very few black people, a lot of white people. Then at that point, I started thinking I have to go to America, because I was now exposed to the wire, you know, Reuters news wire. We didn't have internet back then, but I could see the Reuters wire. I could see the clips. Started just getting interested, satellite, whatever. And then I came up with an idea that I was going to walk from Nairobi to Mombasa. And then I counted in Reuters how many Wazungus were there. There were probably about maybe 200 or 300 who would come in and go. So I did my calculation. If I get $50 out of the 300 of them, how much is that? You know, that's almost what? 300 times 50 is what?
300 times 600.
Is it? Maybe $6,000 or something like that. So when I calculated that, I started talking to them. But then I went to see Timama. And I told him that I'm interested in going to school in America. He said, oh, if you're interested, come. So I went there. And after a very short time, Timama agreed to hold a fundraiser for me, literally within a week. And then those cards that I started selling out to these guys, they were giving me $50. I started collecting. By the time I was leaving for the US, which was in 1995, in fact, this thing happened within a week. Because I had applied for school, got admitted, got my I-20, you know, sent to me. By the time I was now doing the Harambee, because I told Timama on Thursday, and I told him I want to have the fundraising next Saturday. It was so quick. You know, over the weekend, we were running up and down. I booked a ticket. I went. This time, we didn't have to have an appointment with the embassy. You just wake up at 4 in the morning. You go queue outside, you know. And God just opened the way for me. I went. The first day I went to get my... We did the fundraiser in Narok. I personally had about $10,000 that I'd saved. I'd raised and saved from my work. And then we raised an additional $10,000. So by the time I was leaving, I had $20,000. Wow. That is what started my life. And then every summer I would work in the UK with European Business News. Gerard Williams would help me. get jobs. I'd work with diverse production. I'd work with RTL Channel 4 in the UK. I'd wake up at 4 in the morning, go to work. Started really learning how to work. And then when I got to the US, after summer, I'd be in school, but I'll also be doing a lot of other consultancies. I'll be talking about the culture of the Maasai, African culture. In life, if you're given lemon, make lemonade. I knew that I had a rich culture. Even in college, I became an adjunct professor where we could talk about African politics and development. I could give them the real value. I got some scholarships. I had to work hard, literally. In fact, everything I have in my life, I've had to work hard for me to be able to get it, not to be given.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what we need to teach Kenyans. We need to teach our people, young people.
With the late Ntimama and everyone,
yes.
Now there's this really vocal Maasai man, Maasai leadership. Do you think you're the next Ma 001?
I don't really look at it that way. I think
your people really need somebody out here.
No, I see it differently. Mm-hmm. I think in my brief moment from my mother's womb to my tomb, everything that I would have accomplished then, I want to be able to say, in my hour of death, I'll be smiling, knowing that I've done the best for my people, not crying, Even if I would be hanged or something like that, or parade there, being told you hate speech, I'll be smiling. So I will continue doing what I know is good for my people. The difference between my people and people out there is that, my people, you don't have to go to them and tell them, okay, now make me your spokesperson. Mm-hmm. No, it is your actions. It is what you do for them. When they're in need, who do they go to? Mm-hmm. I can tell you, without any fear of contradiction, when there are 5 leaders here, Maasai leaders, and there's a problem, you will find who the Maasais go to. Because they know, they may not like that person, but they know this is a person who will solve our problems. And by sheer luck, I happen to be the person that they come to me. Whether most of them like me or they
Because
don't.
You've always taken hard stance.
Because I take hard stand and I take what I believe in. It's not a hard stand.
Like
really.
your take on the Mao.
That one, no, let me tell you, bro. I'll invite you to my home. You'll understand why. Okay? My take on the Mao is a take that any person who cares about the future of this great nation called Kenya.
And what is it up to this moment, that take?
It's beautiful. It is conservation. Mm-hmm. The forest belongs to animals. It belongs to trees. These trees have life. It doesn't belong to us. We can go there and shelter and live. It rewards us. When it is cold, it gives us dead. When they die, they tell us, okay, you go burn us, we'll go back and make the environment much better. We have to preserve them. Jala, ask yourself. Look at your beautiful neighborhood here of Lavington. Look at the trees which are here. Now go to the areas where there are no trees. Does it ever rain there? Okay? So really, we must conserve that environment. Look at the Maasai ecosystem, Maasai Mara ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Those animals survive because in some instances, in a few years ago, when the drought was ravaging, in March, April, the entire Maasai land was littered, with, carcasses of dead animals, both domestic and wild animals. Why? Because we have been so bad to nature. We've destroyed. I went to the Mara and I cried. Crocs, hippos were outside. They could no longer,
dip themselves
because upstream you've destroyed it. That brought tears into my eyes and I said, you know what? No way. I've got to do something here. And action speaks. Let me tell you, I spent so much money to fight for that conservation. And I'm still doing it. I said we are going to fence them out. We're still working. We still have time. Maybe next year from August, I may start with my fencing project. Mm-hmm. Maybe, just maybe.
How long have you been smoking weed?
I'll tell you something.
Sanitize.
Let's put it this way.
No. Before you tell us how long you've been smoking weed, you can see, guys, just see the numbers. That's what we're talking about. Everybody here is listening and watching, and that is something that they really want to know. But I want to talk to you guys about Oppo Reno 4. That is just now being pre-ordered, but you can walk into any Oppo branded shop and just get yours. The Oppo Reno 4 is trading at 39,999, and I'm telling you, it comes fully kitted. If you want your watch, 23,999, and this phone is anything any person would want. I was in Kisumu over the weekend, and those amazing videos and photos I was taking, it was with my Oppo Reno 4. Now, what makes it even better is some of the features that I want to talk to you about. Definitely, one of the best one is the AI, artificial intelligence, where now
Where's your Oppo?
Somebody give me my Oppo,
it's
please.
Right there.
It was charging. Yeah, it was.
You see?
Here we are. I thought they were charging it. So with this phone, if maybe your hands are dirty and you still want to use your phone, the air control, you just brush it up like this. Let's see and watch this video.
Don't worry, I've got your back. Oppo Reno 4.
And that's what we are talking about. Oppo Reno 4. And also now, if you think that somebody wants to snoop into your phone, the privacy in this phone is amazing. It'll just lock itself off, turn dark, and make sure that nobody can ever read your messages or think that somebody's snooping.
So those guys cheating at home, eh? Have you ever seen those videos? So you're like looking at your phone like this, and
somebody's like
looking behind. So it goes off.
Yeah. You need one.
This is your market. No. Mine, yeah, take it. But of course, why not? Why not? We can support Oppo, definitely.
I need to get you one of the Oppo.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And definitely the watch now comes also at 23,999. Amazing. My producer, Picture Clear, do you have the video for the watch? So that okay, I'll be taking you through how amazingly the watch is. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing, right?
So I should hide my old, okay, I don't even mention the name.
Hide it, please.
How don't you, it might be an Oppo, man.
It is an Oppo.
It's actually an Oppo.
That's what we're talking about. Make sure that you get your Oppo Reno 4. That's what we're talking about. And now for 39,999 only. We are live from Miali, definitely Kenya's best restaurant. What do you think of the ambience here?
Beautiful.
Amazing, right?
I didn't know, man. I'll be coming here. But
Make
you
sure that
just need to get my drink. So then I'll be here.
Of course, yes. That one I will. Please. I will make sure that they have it.
Fantastic.
What will you have for lunch today?
I don't know what you have.
I'm a Maasai meat.
They
have amazing
good ribs.
Wet fry. They have amazing
dry fry.
Dry fry. That's what we're talking about. We'll be having some amazing dry fry for boss himself here. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the stories that have been going out, huge and everything. Senator here, where was that? You're traveled, is it?
Let me tell you. In fact, there's a second video I'm going to be posting. And you're just going to love this. Around the world, the first place, this was in Lithuania.
Lithuania?
Which is in Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe.
Okay. I went on a private tour. I went with a friend of mine called Steve Karaoke. We're interested in the dairy sector. Because I'm big in the dairy.
Most of the time.
Yes.
Please play for me those videos.
And when we went to Lithuania, we visited a few companies. Like there's a company called FASA. We're looking at adding value. Because for me, it's all about creating jobs, really. So when we went there, I was mesmerized. I passed and I said, wait a minute. What is this? What is this? Then I looked at it. It reminded me of my trip in the US, in California, where I went to big farms where they grow weed, you know. So I entered. My friend, getting in there, after like 2 or 3 minutes, I was already high. I didn't even need to smoke it.
What?
I'm serious, I was already high. It was literally 300 acres of land.
Weed.
Part of it was hemp, the other part was real weed, real marijuana, all of it is the same. Then it kept bothering me, why, what's going on? I want to tell you something. It comes back to the issue of pragmatism, the issue of using different theories to see what is happening. I'm a person who reads a lot, and sometimes when you read a lot, you develop headaches, okay? And sometimes those headaches can be very, very painful. Then you go into a hospital, they give you painkillers, akuna. Then the doctor tells you, no, I have one for you. And then they bring you one, which is like morphine, which is like cocaine or something like that. You take it within 2 minutes, umepona. Okay? Then I started thinking, in Masai we have a lot of herbs that we use to drink to be able to cure everything, We have got some aphrodisiacs, we've got some other natural just herbs for strength. Then I started doing a lot of research. So when you now take the plant, weed, and you now dissect it into different, it's like taking a rat into a lab and checking it out, you get to know everything. Then you start understanding the chemical composition of that plant. There are some which makes you high. And there's certain composition of that plant that is good for pain relief.
Medicinal.
It's medicinal. And there's so many people who are sick. There's so many people who have cancer. Let me tell you, the realization that you're only in this world for a very short time is something which should really sink in. I mean, to us legislators, to us Kenyans, and sometimes maybe you are just down, man. Look at Corona. Corona has hit people. You find people, they have degrees, but they're just chilling out there. They don't even know where the food is going to come from. Maybe sometimes when you just take a little bit of the weed, it makes you forget. But the truth of the matter is this. You take it for medicinal purposes. And I remember my trip in the US, in California. In California now, and in Colorado, mostly in California, you will go. There are shops which are designated just to sell weed. You will go there, you will buy, you have an ID, because it's for medicinal purposes. There are doctors who prescribe it to you. Then you go and you're allowed to buy. You can eat chocolate, you can eat candy, cookies, and I'm sure they're around here. And let me tell you, let us not lie to Kenyans. My friend, most of our politicians, they all smoke weed. I'm serious. We are not honest. It comes back to what I told you, honesty. Be honest. Okay? So really, it is something that is worth looking at. If we can help these people who are sick for medicinal value, do it. Because in fact, even the problem is this. You don't even, let me tell you, the next video which you'll see very soon, weed is not atiyo matawi. It is the plant, the flower. That's what is used. But a lot of people here, they just use matawi. Now, let's get to the other beauty of hemp, which is also part of the weed family.
The weed family.
Hemp is used for construction. It is used to make ropes. It is a multi-billion enterprise. My friend, look at the debts we have in this country. Before, we tried to say, it's due Galana, Kulalo, Galana, whatever. It is due Amaze, whatever. My friend, if I was president, I would just plant hemp. Pooh! The whole place, harvest, sell it to Kombele, lipa China denizao. I mean, it's that simple. That's simple. And that's what Kenyans want. A president who will think like that. In the next few years, the youth, amukeni, wacheni kulala tu. You need to think of creating jobs. Everything we do in this country has consequences. So think about the consequences so that it controls your actions. Even the Quran, even the Bible. People will say drinking is bad. But a padre will tell you drinking is not bad. Drinking, it depends on your action. What are you going to do? Even in the Quran, the Muslims will tell you drinking is not bad. But it is what is it that you do. If I drink today, or if I smoke weed, and then I see a beautiful woman there, you know, I should respect and just say, okay. I should just look at her and I say, yenyewe hii ni menu ya chakula. Nimeangalia tu, nimetamani lakini siwezi. Ama nimeenda window shopping. You get my point? But if I now act on it, and I go and I rape that woman, that is the problem. You know? So ask yourself, is it morally right or is it immoral? Those are the issues to ask. But really, in terms of medicinal...
If you legalize weed,
we have to, man.
Kondele Kisumu alone can pay.
It's dead. They will never need any shareable revenue.
I hear Rwanda would pay the Chinese debt yote in 2 weeks.
Situfanya hivyo for 2 weeks.
What can you never leave the house without?
It depends. I wake up very early. And this is what I want to encourage Kenyans to do. I wake up at 5, or even earlier than 5. I go for my morning walks with my wife for about an hour. Come back home.
You guys just walk and talk?
Yeah, walk and talk, get to share a lot. Come back home, I have a gym at home. Maybe work out in the gym. And then from there, go to my office, start working for Kenyans, you know, maybe at around 6:30, and after shower. And I always have books, even in my car right now, you go, plenty of books. There's always a rungu inside as well. And another type of rungu, because of, you know, self-defense. I don't believe in having so many companies. I can defend myself. But...
You're true Masai, eh?
Lazima. So, you know, what do I... You know, I live with my books. I live with my... I plan the day. Like today, I knew I had to come here. So I had to make sure I take care of all the other businesses very early and delegate to others.
We've watched one of your videos, definitely. You are such a dairy lover.
Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am.
So that's what you do?
I actually buy even my cows abroad.
You buy your cows abroad?
Yes. I go to auctions, okay, buy them there. Soon they'll be coming by air. You know? You know the things you do. And then I work hard. If you see that video,
this one is
I am
you.
feeding. Let me tell you, you go to anywhere in Kenya and find another cow band like that one. You will not find. My cows listen to jazz music. You know, they are massaged. Like there's a massage right there. The cows go for the massage. Love it. And then each cow gives me between 48 and 52 liters of milk. Each cow. Okay? Take care of it. Show the people that you can actually do that. When I go there,
so this is you doing it actually?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
I'll bring you there. You will love it. And you will not smell any poop. Because now what we do, we take it with a sewage pipe, and then we pour it in the fields. It makes the land better. You grow the food again for the cows. Okay?
Wow.
Because everything, you must recycle everything 100%.
So do you have like a dairy company?
Yes, I do. It's called Enkanasa Cow. We deliver milk to companies, to homes. And then by the end of this year, we'll be producing butter. And that is creating more jobs for the youth. You employ people. You know, you become innovative. You get cows there. I love them. I work, you know, when I'm at the farm, I've got some guys who work in my farm. And I'm very grateful for them. These are some, you know, you talk about that Olekina being tribal. I'm not. In fact, the guys who take care of my cows, you see them, they are lawyers. I have 3 lawyers. They wake up at 3 in the morning.
Every day?
Every day. They milk the cows at 3. And then they feed the cows at 3. They put the food there. You can see the barn is clean. They clean the cows. My cows are washed, you know. They are washed with a brush. Okay? And soap and shampoo. And shampoo.
Your cows are shampooed?
Yes. In fact, some of them are oiled. The way you oil yourself, they are groomed. You take care of it, it takes care of you. You groom it. And then these guys, they go sleep. They come back at 10. They prepare food for the cows. They milk them at 12. After milking, they give them food. They go back and rest. And then they come back at 4. And then they give them more food. They milk them. And then they go back. They go and sleep until 3. So their working hours is just like this, like this, like this. And we take care of them. Nobody bothers them. If they want food, we prepare. We sell. Milk, we deliver milks to homes. We don't want a situation where you now wake up and you go to a supermarket. We become creative. The next thing we're going to be doing is water. We are creating more jobs for some. The next thing we're going to do, Jala, the meat you're going to be selling in this restaurant, it will be coming from Enkanasa farm, aged nicely. So you don't live here. You just chill here and you say, hey boss, order mazua, mwaga mazua. And they come with beautiful, cool. The milk will leave, even if the milk leaves there at 5 in the morning, even if it lands here at 6 p.m., it is still as fresh. So really, and you're creating jobs for the youth. So if each county should do that, or can do that, you will find that the cost of living will be lower for the people. But now, it goes back to greed. Let me tell you that, greed. Some politicians do not want to see you venturing into the business they are in. Wakiona hivyo, they start saying, let's cut his wings to Malize. But now we have to fight for our space. Some certain regulations come, like last year, for instance, which are very, very annoying. There were some regulations which were being introduced at manure is bad. You grew up, your mom, even the Skuma Wiki, manure, they go and they buy this cow poop or neka kwa shamba. Ati now that is bad because they wanted to allow somebody else to bring in fertilizer from outside. It is wrong. Let us be honest. Let us share the little cake that we have. If I come here, meet with you, I enjoy what you're doing here, I respect that. You've created a lot of employment for this youth. But I don't come back here and I say, Apana, now, Jala, does he have a license to do this? Oh, does he have a CAK? Oh, does he have all these other crap? It's not important. What is important is this. What can you teach the people out there to be able to make a living? You create problems where there are none just because you are jealous of my success. That is the biggest problem we have.
Wow. On this camera, closing it down. It's been an amazing sit down and a conversation that I've always wanted to have.
Thank you, and I really
because I've followed you for a very, very long time.
Thank you, Jalango.
And I can assure you, my people watching Jalango TV right now, I've never had this conversation, and I don't think you've ever seen all this anywhere else.
No, never.
Thank you so
Never.
much for making time for
Never.
us.
Thank you very much.
Close it down for us here. For Kenyans out here, as we anticipate President's speech today, and also moving forward in the new normal.
Thank you, Jalango. The only thing I can say is that I can repeat what I said. It's about being pragmatic. It's about being honest, and it's about meritocracy. This is what I have helped a country like Singapore, which was a very, very poor country. But now when you go there, they have enough money to lend to the World Bank. We have a lot that we can share in this world. But in our brief moment from our mother's womb to our tomb, let us be our brother's keepers. Let us be the people who can be able to accept when you're wrong and embrace change. The biggest challenge we have now is the issue of tribalism. I want to urge the youth, as you grow, please select your leaders wisely. This culture of gonya or hongo, or things where you have to do something, you buy votes, or you rig election, they are things which should become things of the past. The moment we realize that all these things we have in this country are all vanity is the moment when we'll start living. But right now, when I come here, I see a beautiful Canon, EOS C, I start maybe valuing it. It's about, maybe $6,000 or $7,000. The next thing I want to do is to nick it and then do what? Go sell it. Go pawn it for 20,000 shillings. I think we need to be happy with the success of everyone. And I want to encourage the governors to spend money wisely. I encourage the youth to become creative, to become patient. And once we do that, we'll be able to leave this country a better place than we found. And lastly, a friend of mine, or an old friend of mine, let me put it this way, told me one thing which I believe in. She said, make sure you have a covenant with God. God respects covenants. In the Bible, it's written that you live for 70 years. Have that covenant with God. God will respect that covenant, give you 70 years. After 70 years, now whatever you get is a bonus. make a difference in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This is Bonga na Jalas on Jalango TV. Senator, thank you so much.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate
Asante.
it. Asante. Thank you very much. Asante sana.